How do you absolutely crush it with short form content as a realtor on social media? And maybe more importantly, how do you actually stay consistent with it? Today we're here with Markus Feldmann, the owner and broker of Pacific Realty and one of the best follows you can possibly have on Instagram. This man is absolutely killing it with short form content. He's up to 24K followers on Instagram, up from just over 900 a little bit more than a year ago. My name's Brian Hernandez, owner of Ordinari Marketing and a creator that's been fortunate enough to have content I've produced for clients featured in outlets like Forbes, ABC News, NBC, and more. We've produced 300 plus videos for brands like AleSmith Brewing and Bill Howe Plumbing, and over the last 2-3 years, content has become the name of our game. We're going to cover tips like how to find content that works for you and your personal brand as a realtor. We'll cover why your listing videos might not bring you the ROI you're looking for no matter how flashy you make them. And if you watch till the end, we're going to break down the exact marketing workflow he's using on a brand new $4.5 million listing, so you're going to want to have your notepad ready. So before we dive in, two things. Number one, I'm going to link all of Markus's information below so you can follow him on social, check out his amazing content, and his email and cell will be linked as well if you want to get in contact for a listing or a showing. And number two, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe if you're getting any value from this at all. Now, our guest today has an incredible story. From growing up in Switzerland to becoming a lawyer to opening his own real estate brokerage in sunny San Diego, Markus has seen a ton, done a ton, and has a ton of value to bring for you. I can't wait to dive in, so Markus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man. I am super happy for you to be here as well. Again, Markus is killing it on social media right now, absolutely crushing it with short form content, so I want to grab a ton of info in terms of things that you're doing on social, things that are working, things that you used to really be doing that just aren't really pulling the same way for you anymore. So really excited to get jumped in.
I think what we were talking about is, I guess, short form content that really resonates versus videos, high-end, highly produced, expensive videos, property videos that maybe get 17.5 views. And don't make any difference whatsoever. But yet agents keep doing those type of videos because maybe they feel they have to, or because the seller is expecting them to do that. Again, don't get me wrong, these videos definitely have a time and a place. However, they're just not what drives social media engagement. My experience has been, and one of my frustrations initially with Instagram is that I would do these things and I would get hardly any traction, and the ROI, the return on investment, was just zilch because there's nobody that interacted with me. And once I started doing these short form videos that were engaging, that were fun, that were lighthearted, that were not highly edited, highly produced, and very cheap to make, $0 because it was just my time, 20 seconds, 5 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it was. And all of a sudden, those type of clips explode. Now you're bringing the same message across. You're still showcasing the same property, but in a form or in a format that actually resonates with the people that are watching it. Again, if somebody is interested, they will then still be able to, access the really long videos, the beautifully produced videos, but as an attention grabber and as a way to, showcase the property. I've experienced that those short form videos are that much more effective than anything produced on a bigger scale.
I would say those two pieces of content kind of serve different purposes within your sales funnel. Like the 90%, maybe more than 90% of all of your short form content, all of your social content in general is like super top of funnel, very top of funnel, like building initial brand awareness, getting the first maybe 2 or 3 touches with somebody. There is a 0% conversion rate on a listing video being your first 2 or 3 touches with somebody. So if you're not building that relationship for, I would imagine in most cases, several months ahead of time with here's cool things to do in Little Italy, or here's 5 new parks, or things that are relevant to non-house buying activities that they have throughout the week, throughout the month. Like you're kind of shortchanging yourself in terms of building that relationship again, because nobody has any reason for most of the year to watch a very particular listing centric video.
I agree with you. I'd like to make a slight, maybe caveat here.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion that one of the reasons why our following has grown over the last year and a half is because we were consistent. I did not make any posts or Instagram reels about a different activity. I did not post about me going skiing. I did not post about visiting a different restaurant in Point Loma. It was 99%, I want to say, was all about real estate. And the reason why it has worked is because you've been in that same position as I have. You're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you're in the mode, you keep flipping. And because the algorithm keeps realizing what you like, you keep hitting the same type of features. Now, if somebody gets stuck on my feed and they scroll through Instagram reel about real estate, and posts about real estate, and all of a sudden they come across a post about me skiing. Well, guess what? That now reminds them, oh yeah, I've been on his page for way too long. I need to go drop off the laundry, or I need to go do something different. Had that not been the case, God knows how long they would have flipped through being on the same type of consistency at that point. And that's why one of the reasons why I believe being consistent to your niche, if that niche is real estate, you have to be consistent with that niche and don't try to water it down. That's at least my experience over the last year, and it definitely has helped me grow because of that consistency.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And you obviously have the results to show that. I mean, that consistency works. And if you're fishing and you're putting out a bait and you throw something out and you catch something, there's no reason to throw a different bait. If you're
right.
putting a specific type of content out and somebody found, real estate tips, whatever it is that you're putting out, it got them onto your page, they're looking for more of that. So
right.
If you're consistently putting out more of what they're looking for, then it makes a lot more sense for them to follow you and to stay engaged with your content than if you put out 2 or 3 videos that they're interested in and then it's broken up by 3 or 4 posts of, wife and kids and summer park. And so, yeah, I think that consistency, if you're really looking at it as producing content for like a business account, it really makes a lot of sense.
And then the other thing is, I feel like with those short form videos, you can be a lot more entertaining, and you can find a playful way of sharing, real estate tips, sharing real estate knowledge, sharing real estate updates with your audience. And even though this audience may not be at a point where they're looking for a house, but you engage with them way before they're thinking about buying a house or selling a house. So they like you, they know and trust you, and then at that point it becomes easier for them to reach out to you if and when they decide to buy or sell a house.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like there's a big difference in that initial relationship that you have with clients now versus before you started producing content? Do you feel like they already kind of have a sense of who you are, or are you still kind of starting that relationship the same as you used to?
No, yeah. The answer is yes. I think there's a big difference. I have established through Instagram a tremendous and very, I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. I did not expect that me being on Instagram would result in me having a network of real estate agents all over the world. And I get a lot of DMs, I get a lot of feedback from agents. These are people that potentially could refer business to me and vice versa. I have referred business in Las Vegas. I've referred business into Michigan. And these are all connections that I've made online on Instagram and through people that have reached out to me. So, this is something that I never really thought about would happen, that all of a sudden you get this big network of agents that feel they can relate to the posts and comments that I have on our Instagram page.
Yeah, and that makes a huge because there's no way you could go to all the networking events you want. You could shake all the hands you want. Like it's just not realistic to be able to meet people, from Vegas, from Michigan, from all of these different places, basically at the same time. And you put out a week's worth of content, and hundreds of thousands of people could potentially see it. It doesn't always shake out hundreds of thousands, but it's in terms of the quantity of the content going out, it's more about the quality of person that's seeing it, right?
Absolutely. And one more caveat. I want to be 100% clear. Being on Instagram and getting followers doesn't automatically translate into you getting deals. I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, I've been on Instagram for 2 months, 6 months, a year. I haven't seen a single deal. Does that mean all the efforts that I've put into Instagram are in vain? Absolutely not. I look at this as a long-term effort on my part. And, the relationships that I build on Instagram, they don't follow a timeline, meaning it doesn't matter to them when that relationship will come to fruition as far as a referral, because ultimately that's one of the reasons why we're doing this for me. But I don't even care about this, because that's not the main point for me to do this. I'm doing this so that I can establish myself in a community as a real estate, expert, somebody that has maybe a little bit of a lighthearted way of looking at a property that doesn't take himself too seriously, and can have fun while doing the job of a real estate agent. But I feel a lot of agents are very short-sighted on, oh my God, I have done all this stuff on Instagram and I haven't seen a single lead. Give it time. Real estate relationships, and any relationships, they have no timeline. You may do nothing for 5 years, and then all of a sudden you do 1 year, you get nothing but leads from Instagram or social media for that matter.
100%. I would say for the first, insert whatever timeline, the first year, the ROI that you're getting from social media is relationships. It's not necessarily deals. So right. You have to be you have to be looking at like the content, the progress that you're making on social in terms of like how many relationships have I built, how many potential networks can I tap into from these other things. But if you're looking at it strictly from I've made 100 posts and I've gotten 0 deals from that, like you're just not.
You're missing the point.
Metrics. Yeah,
and you're right. You're missing the point, and you're not. You're going to be frustrated if you're looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah, and YouTube, literally any of the platforms that you're posting content on, they're all the same. It's all long term. It's all sustaining this effort over however many months to get a relationship built, because you're just not going to establish the amount of know, like, and trust with somebody that you're going to need to sell $1 million house to them over the course of a month of posting on Instagram. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
And, or a month posting on TikTok or YouTube or Lemonade or whatever, insert whatever platform you want. You have to be thinking of this as if I knew this person just followed me today. If I knew this person this amount of time, would I buy something from them? Probably not. If I followed this person for 6 months and I've seen something about them, a couple of times a week where they're always the same person, I've seen results from them, I've seen testimonials from them, and I've seen them talking about exactly what I'm looking for in an agent for 6 months, now you've got their attention. It doesn't make any sense to just measure stuff in terms of days or weeks, on social, or really with anything else marketing wise. Everything, is going to be measured in a number of months, in a number of relationships built. That's just kind of the name of the game.
So to put it in perspective, what's my ROI on the entire last year of doing Instagram Reels and posting fairly consistent on Instagram? The ROI with the dollar amount, 0. The ROI with regards to relationships that you just mentioned, unbelievable, through the roof. The relationships, the people that have reached out to me, that have said, hey, I'm a real estate agent in Nova Scotia, I'm a real estate agent in Portugal, I'm a real estate agent in Dallas, and I love your content, and if I ever have a buyer or a seller in San Diego, you are going to be my man. I can't even tell you how many emails and DMs I've gotten that had that type of, bottom line. So, the relationship aspect of this effort on Instagram has been absolutely amazing. And I'm really stoked about that.
If you're getting that type of feedback from other people within the industry and you know you're doing something right, for sure. If other people are looking at it like, I kind of wish my stuff looked like that, like, you know you're doing well, for sure.
Thank you.
So, I would say outside of just creating more content and telling other agents, like, make more content, be more present on Reels, is there any other marketing opportunities that you feel like other real estate pros are kind of missing out on or underutilizing?
I feel video. That's actually one of my gripes, I guess, about other agents, how few agents are actually utilizing Instagram and video to showcase their properties. And they're completely underestimating and undervaluing an unbelievable tool that they have at their disposal to market their clients' listings and to educate their buyers as well. So I think that agents, even in San Diego, not a lot of them are utilizing the video to its full potential.
Yeah, and that, I feel like a lot of people are really intimidated by video still. There's kind of, until you do it a couple of times, especially if you're just getting used to the short form stuff, you kind of don't realize how much wiggle room you have to cut out mistakes and to remove the ums and the buts and the awkward spaces kind of in between. Most of the time that you see a really nice looking piece of content, somebody, it's zooming in and out and, the captions on it, they were talking for maybe 2 minutes and it got trimmed down to 30 seconds. That's why it seems like it's perfect. Almost anyone can do that, and anyone can script a video out word by word or go room by room through a property and give a tour. It just seems really intimidating when you build it out in your head and you look at the end product and you think like, oh, I need to do this in one take. Like, you really don't.
No, it's absolutely true. And I encourage anybody who is, kind of thinking, oh, I can never do that. I can never do this. I can never look as polished as somebody else. Go scroll through the beginning of their feed. Go all the way down and check out their first video or their first post or their first live. And it's just like you said, you also get better. Once you've done a Facebook Live, once you've done an Instagram Live, you get better. You know what to look for. You've seen, when you did the first one, you've seen the mistakes that you've made, and practice makes perfect. Practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes you better. I just encourage people, don't look at what other people's perfection is. Look at how they started, because that's exactly where you are at this point in time, not where they are as far as perfectionism. Go back in time and look at their first few posts and take comfort in the fact that other people started somewhere too, and you're just in that position right now. So make those mistakes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just do it. Done is better than perfect. And that's from a recovering perfectionist like myself. It was horrible. I would take videos and I would look at this and there'd be one word that was off or one intonation that was off. And English is, FYI, English is not my mother tongue. So I constantly struggle with that, where I'm making a mistake, or I feel like I'm making a mistake and my grammar is off or what have you. And I'm like, I can't possibly put this on social media because then people are going to see that I have faults, and that can't possibly happen. So the drive for perfectionism is sometimes a curse that, every now and then people have to overcome. And I had to as well. It's just now I feel like done is better than perfect.
Yeah, done is absolutely, but if you're looking at it just as did it get posted or did it not get posted, if you don't post it, all of the effort that you put in is 100% wasted. Even if
that's true,
you post it and it was okay, it was a C+ video, you'll get 1,000 times more back from that C+ video than you did the one that had a little intonation wrong that you just never posted. Maybe it was a better video. Maybe you could have done, this, that, or the other better. But if you just don't post it, you're not going to get anything. You're wasting all of the time.
And that's the beauty, in my opinion, about social media. That it shouldn't be perfect to a certain degree. It's social media is social, and social means mistakes. Social means authentic. Social means human. Social means interacting with people that are like you and I, and we're not perfect. And it's kind of like saying, hey, you know what? I did the best I could. Here it is.
You would, and then speaking of, making mistakes, and I'm sure that listening to you talk now, you would never know that English is like not your first tongue. But there is, I'm sure, a really cool backstory behind this. Speaking of making mistakes, maybe I should have covered this in the intro. Markus is from Switzerland and somehow is also a lawyer. Tell me a little bit about like how those pieces kind of fit together. Like, how did you end up at, starting from law profession, leaving that, and then ending up in an entirely different kind of skill set? I would say one is like a way more social skill set than the other.
Right. I think I can sum it all up in God closed the door, but he opened the window, so to speak. It's just I came to the States to get my Master's of Law. I have a law degree in Switzerland. I wanted to get a Master's of Law in International Law from USD. I got that, went back to Switzerland, worked as an attorney, but just missed San Diego. Decided to come back and kind of fell into real estate and never really looked back. So that's the short story. But yeah, to your point, and I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed real estate more than law, is because real estate is a lot more social and than law. Law, I was just behind the books and studying and writing and what have you. And I felt like I enjoyed working with people. I enjoyed the personal interaction with people so much that I felt that was a better suited career choice for me.
I think that makes sense. In terms of, one door closing and, and a window opening, was there ever kind of a moment at the beginning when you were starting, whether it was in law, whether you were starting in real estate, where kind of hit the fan and you weren't 100% sure if you were going to make it out the other side?
Of course. And I think that is a situation that every real estate agent encounters on a more or less regular basis. We are commission based profession, and I don't care how successful you are, there is most likely in everybody's time a situation where people are just like, oh my God, I'm worried. I just closed the deal and I have nothing in the pipeline. I have no clients that are knocking on my door. I don't know when I'm going to sell my next deal. Absolutely. Those times have definitely hit me as well. I think what I've tried to do during those situations is I've tried to focus on what I can control. I can't control if and when a client is going to call me. That's completely out of my control. I could work 24 hours and I may not get that phone call. What I can control though is me wanting, during that downtime, me focusing on things that I can improve. When those downtimes have happened, I'm thinking, how can I improve my comparative market analysis? How can I improve my on-camera performance, doing, dry runs, doing things that, these are things that are in my control. These are things that, while I'm hoping for the next deal to come through, I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on what can I do to improve what I have to offer to the next client. And that kind of puts the focus back on me and tells me, hey, don't worry about the next deal. Work on something that you can control and that you can improve upon. Yeah, and I think that's an element that's more like about you as a person, I think, rather than just like an element that might apply to like real estate in general. You could apply that same set of like personal skill sets and really just tenacity, the ability to just like know that the walls might be caving in a little bit, but like there's elements within my control. If I focus on this and if I improve this, then I can get out of that. Like, right. The ability to just control like your thought process and keep your head on straight and improve the things that are under your control. And that by itself is huge. There's a lot of people that in that same amount of pressure would have gone and driven for Uber or would have, called it quits in one way, shape, or form. Like, Yeah, the ostrich, is that what it's called? Ostrich?
Yeah.
The bird that sticks to, that attitude isn't going to get you anywhere. And I don't know if you know this, but I own Pacific Real Estate Centers. I'm the broker owner of Pacific Real Estate Centers. So we have about almost 30 agents. And when an agent comes to me and says, oh my God, I have nothing, I have no deals closing or anything going on, what do I do? I always tell them, work on yourself, improve your skill set. Do something that you don't have the time when you're busy. Rewrite your marketing script, redo your CMA, update your bio on your website. Do something, that utilizes this time efficiently.
Yeah, and so many of those small iterations that you make end up kind of snowballing into something else that really gets you. Like, you change the bio on your website, and that kind of leads you into changing your LinkedIn profile, which kind of leads you into changing another thing, and then now you're making a video for Instagram, and now you're actually doing stuff.
Right.
Now you're
doing things.
You're doing stuff, and you're taking like actual steps that 12 hours ago might not have felt like they were really making any progress, but when you put them all together, it makes sense in terms of like an actual umbrella of progress.
And you know what? Most importantly, it changes your attitude. You don't have an attitude of, oh my God, I'm not doing anything, and oh my God, I'm so sad, and I'm such a victim. It changes how you appear, and it makes you as a person more, and I use that word in this term, forgive me, attractive for other opportunities to come your way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just are enabling opportunities to actually come your way rather than active just by attitude or body language or whatever.
Right.
Closing yourself off from the possibility. And there's something to be said just for, opportunity meets preparation. And if you're not actively doing anything, if you're not doing something to be prepared or to be more prepared, even if an opportunity comes your way, are you in a position to actually capitalize on it?
Right.
If you're not going through all of the processes through the rest of the day to improve yourself as an agent, to improve yourself as a business owner, if the phone actually rings, are you ready for it?
Right.
There's an entire another thing to be said for like, if your phone isn't ringing, there's sort of a reason behind it. Are you ready for that if it happens? There's other pieces that you need to put in play that once you get these other elements of your business, together, of your marketing funnel together, now not only is your phone, your email, your DMs, going to start picking up some activity, but when it does, you're on a DM or an email or a call with somebody who's actually familiar with who you are and what you do, and they're interested in you specifically rather than, oh, I found this number on Yelp and I just called the first line that came up, and they're just looking for general information. If you have all of these other pieces in play, they have their general information. They're looking for you. And that's the part that you're really trying to get to in terms of any marketing, whether it's social media, whether it's printed ads. The purpose is to build that know, like, and trust factor, that brand, personal brand authority that in the real estate world is really what you need to get somebody to make $1 million or potentially multi-million-dollar decision with you. Like, it's only reasonable to expect somebody to want to get to know you, to want to see that you are actually an expert in your, in your field and in your industry.
Right.
You mentioned a shiny new listing that you have in Point Loma.
Yes.
Walk me through the property, kind of set the stage for me, and then run us through your marketing workflow. Like, what are you going to do to get this in the best position that it possibly can be in terms of a new listing in San Diego?
Okay. Let me give you the gist. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, almost 3,000 square feet, 12,000 plus square foot lot. That's the bones. Now, what makes this property so special is the views. I have been working in the Point Loma Ocean Beach area for the past 20 plus years, and I can honestly tell you, I have never seen, in all of my 20 plus years of experience, I have never seen views that are as dramatic, in your face, mesmerizing, panoramic, drop dead gorgeous, take your breath away type of views. And it's just an absolutely phenomenal property. It has a split level floor plan, so there's 2 floors and one kind of in between on the other side. Got a 3-car garage. The garages are oversized, so there's room for a workshop and an extra room. You've asked about marketing. I suggested to the owner that they replace the carpets, they paint everything. They also put tile in the bathrooms and the hallway to make it just look really neutral. We staged the entire property, but again, I keep coming back. The views of this property is really what sets this home apart, and the location. You are in one of Point Loma's most exclusive and sought after neighborhoods. It's called La Playa. The street is Armada Terrace. It's a no outlet street, so there's hardly any traffic. And the way that this property is, what makes it so unique is it sits high off an already exclusive street, and there's 100% privacy. Nobody's looking down on you. The neighbors, you're actually higher up than your neighbors, and the view is all the way to the Coronado Bridge, the downtown skyline, the Pacific Ocean. You can see all the way down, obviously, depending on how clear the view is. The views are just magnificent. There's also a pool directly in the front of the property, which if you're swimming in the pool, you actually have that type of view. And that is one of the things that is so unusual about the property. Usually on that street, the yards are in the back of the property and they don't share the same view as the house in front. But this particular house actually has the view and has the pool and the yard in the front. There's a lot of room to expand in the back as well. You can add on another 4,000 square feet. We did a planning investigation, and you could actually build a 7,000 square feet house on that 12,000 square feet lot. You can go up a second story. Not sure why you would do that other than adding square footage if you need to, because you're not adding the second story to get a view. You have a full panoramic view from the lower level and a full panoramic view from the upper level as well. And the property is in very decent condition. Obviously, the tile is vintage, but it's in excellent condition. It's a property that you can move in the way it is, or you can say, you know what, I'm gonna use this lot and just create an absolute masterpiece. It lends itself to both.
Wow, and it sounds like an absolutely stunning place. I'm sure for the most part, you just gotta, I'm sure for the most part, you just gotta put a couple of pictures up, and a place like that is definitely gonna sell itself. But do you find yourself doing anything different for properties like this versus other properties that are maybe a little bit less unique? Do you feel like you have to do a little bit more work for some versus others marketing-wise?
I think the pressure is a little bit higher as far as wanting to do a really good job for this particular seller. I interviewed, I was one of 3 or 4 agents that interviewed for the job. And so it was almost, you want to justify their decision in you want to make them feel comfortable and confident that they've made the best decision. So, I always try to do my best. But yes, there are different things. The staging is something that we did this particular time. We also did more than one photography session to possibly showcase a different lighting. We did twilight shot. A twilight shot is not something that is warranted with every single property. So there's definitely a few extra things that we do marketing wise. But the general approach from me is I just try to do my best every single time, regardless of it's a $300,000 condo or a $4.3 million property such as this is.
Ryan, you're doing your best is clearly, doing pretty well for you. But
Thank you.
There's also times, especially in San Diego, I know we had mentioned this a little bit before we started recording, but sometimes you can quote unquote do your best and the stars just aren't gonna align for you. You can, do all of your planning ahead of time and have a specific date at a property and a photographer booked and all of the, the lights and everything set. And if the marine layer doesn't burn off in time, or if it decides it's raining for 3 months straight in Southern California, sometimes there's just nothing really that you can do. Do you have any inside info, any tips that you've kind of come across when last minute stuff like that comes up that you have found like as a workaround? Do you usually just, we got to reschedule this and do it later and just know that is what it is? What's your thought process there?
Well, the case in point for Ramada Terrace, the last 2 weeks in San Diego, you know this, we've had marine layers, we had clouds. It was ridiculous. And, I had this conversation with my client. I'm like, look, it's not perfect. I'm sorry. We have really nice cloud coverage that gives us a nice, maybe nice dimensional shots, but, it could potentially be washed out. We did a twilight shot that was absolutely horrible. And I told him, I said, we have enough pictures that showcase the view. Now we can wait, which is what we did. We said, look, we'd like to reshoot a certain portion of it, and we got some better pictures. The views are the views, and the pictures that we have are definitely breathtaking. Could they have been maybe just a smidgen better? Yes, 100%. But again, I kept looking every single night. I looked at the skyline and I'm like, should we have done it tonight? And it literally, we would have had to wait for another week, and who knows when a better time would have been. So again, the perfectionist in me wants to keep waiting, but the practical side says, look, people are going to get the idea. There is a panoramic view, and we have some great shots of the property. And sometimes you just have to kind of say, look, we're going to go to market with the best we can.
Yeah. And especially in something, very timeline specific, it's easy to say like, we'll just wait another 3 weeks for this storm to pass. Like, you can do that in other, if you're selling cars or something maybe, but the market moves. There's no reason to, if you have something that is 95% as good as it's possibly going to get, there's no reason to wait 3 weeks to try and, improve something 5% when you've already got, a slam dunk waiting there essentially.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? This adage here, time is of the essence in real estate. And none of us know what the future holds. We know that right now the market in San Diego is hot. And there's nothing like this on the market in all of Point Loma and Ocean Beach. It's just such a unique property. And I feel that, who knows, times may change again. All of a sudden, God knows what happens with the stock market, and all of a sudden it comes to a full stop like it did last year in June, where the market all of a sudden came to a complete stop. And so, I'd rather put it on the market now, and potentially if it's on the market again a month from now, when the summer months are here, I have no problem getting a photographer back out there, creating new marketing collateral that I can then push out to the same people or other people as well with a new and fresh look. But at this point, we decided, let's stick with it. We did the best we can. And believe me, people will get the idea that there's a view. I think that will come across very, very clearly.
I think anyone that's looking for that sort of property in San Diego can look at a couple of those photos and know exactly what it's going to look like with the right sunset behind it. And also, if you're looking for that type of property in San Diego, you probably know what the weather has been like the last couple of months. So I think they'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
But just for people to know, the address is 824 Armada Terrace, San Diego, California, 92106. We are going to be live in the MLS on Monday, and showings can have to occur directly with me. I'm going to accompany every single showing. We have 2 public events. One will be the Broker's Caravan on Thursday, this coming Thursday from 10 to 12. And the second event will be a public open house on May 14th from 1 to 4 p.m.
Awesome. I also want to plug your stuff at the end, but give everyone an idea right now where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can get in touch to book one of those showings.
Of course, you can reach me on my cell phone, 619-572-7879. On Instagram, markus.feldmann4re. And my email address is markus@pacificrealestatesd.com. And the price of this beautiful one-of-a-kind home is $4.295 million.
Ooh, sounds like it's worth every single penny. And all of
it is.
For our YouTube audience will be in the description below. So if you guys want to contact Markus to check this place out, to book a listing, do that ASAP because it is going to move fast, I'm sure.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So along with this listing, you have dozens of others listed, across San Diego. Give me an idea of what your typical customer journey is. How does somebody usually find you? How long do they know of you before they are reaching out, before they're like a lead? And then what pieces do you have in play that you're using to get somebody from one point of this funnel to the other and build that know, like, and trust?
The good thing for me is I've been in the business for a while, so I want to say a lot of my business is past clients, referral from past clients. The second funnel for me is through Google. Google find me, people find us on Google, they see the reviews that we have, and I'm proud to say that I'm not spending a dime on lead generation such as Zillow, Realtor.com, or any other lead generation platforms. So that's where we get our leads from. We meet people during open houses. As a listing agent, some clients come directly to me because they want to, be represented by me as well. So that's kind of where we get our clients from, or where I get my clients from.
Awesome. And that makes a ton of sense. When you've been an expert in the industry for as long as you have, you're going to have a lot of referral business. You're going to have a lot of people that you've already done a great job for you and trust you to do a great job for, their referral partners, their friends, family, and otherwise. So that totally makes sense.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Markus, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. I really hope everyone got a ton of value from that. Give everyone another plug of where they can find you, how they can reach you, and when is the first showing they can sign up for.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Brian. Thanks for having me on your show, on your podcast. You guys can reach me at 619-572-7879 or via email at Markus, Markus, that's the German way or the Swiss way, Markus, Markus at pacificrealestatesd.com. We are on Facebook, Pacific Real Estate Center. We're on Instagram, Markus.Feldmann for RE. And obviously on LinkedIn, but I think these are on TikTok as well. So TikTok, we're realestate.san Diego. So we just I started on TikTok as well, but it's not really where I spent most of my energy, but we'll see.
Fair enough. And he mentioned it last, but follow this man on Instagram. A lot of what we've been talking about in terms of short form content tips, a lot of it is coming from what he's done on Instagram. It's an amazing resource for not only inspo for what you really should be doing as a realtor within the industry, but also as a potential home buyer, a home seller. Amazing resource, an awesome guy that you really should add to your follow list. Markus Feldmann, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure has been mine. Thank you.